Check one. How's it going? You gotta wiggle before you can crawl. That was the theme of our stream earlier today on the new Assetto Corsa rally game. Wow. Quite challenging. Quite the challenge. How's everybody doing tonight? Doing okay? Maybe we can stream a little game in a minute. The problem is I don't have a way to do audio and do the game at the same time, which is a huge pain in my butt because it's hilarious to be crashing all the time. Yeah, I think it would make it for good content. All right, just because we're clear, and I'm certainly not an expert in rally car racing or sim racing, but do you know about drive with your feet? It is definitely one of the most important concepts in racing. So maybe we should take a little moment to talk about that, since the name of the stream is The Race for AGI. Drive with your feet. I remember the first time I heard drive with your feet, I think the same thing you thought. This dude is driving with his feet, you know. It was like a stream, and the guy said he was driving with his feet, and that we should drive with our feet in order to learn how to do better. I'm thinking, what is he talking about? So driving with your feet is using your pedals to control your car. And there's lots of ways to it, but actually once you start to learn how to drive with your feet, you realize, whoa, what a profoundly important concept for racing. Your feet should be, I call it twinkle toes, moving very, very quickly. And so once I get the stream going with the camera, I will absolutely, the first place I will point the camera will not be at my sweet handsome face. It will be at my feet with a little light down there for you guys to see how much I'm kicking butt with my feet. And I don't even have a clutch right now, so I gotta get a clutch. Hopefully get a clutch for Christmas. I don't know. Got a lot of Christmas stuff coming up. But yeah, drive with your feet. That's what that is. And it's definitely what you should try and you should want to do. But your feet will be moving basically constantly. And then we have a clutch even more. But that you're braking, you're double tapping the brake, you're double tapping acceleration, you're accelerating. Sometimes you're not fully accelerating, you're partial acceleration, or you're switching between different accelerations, like very fluidly. It's like a dance. It's very athletic. I mean, the steering wheel is athletic, but the feet, you know, I have a lot of driving that I have to do, and I go a lot of places, and I can't do a lot of sim racing because it works my shins so hard that I don't want to drive an actual car because my legs are tired, and I'm like, ugh, I can't sim race all day long, or I might have shin splints. It's very active. I mean, again, like, don't get me wrong, it's all what you try to get out of it, but if you're trying to go fast and you know what you're doing, it's very active and it's fun, but a lot of work. So we're going to Control S this for save. That little dot disappeared there. And now we're going to close this, save that for later. Alright, we're going to close saved on that. Alright, here we go. So what is chat ops? Well, chat ops will be a way that we can all come up with proposals for the code, plan and work around our ideas and our projects all through a chat interface. So you're talking to agents, you're talking to LLMs, you're talking to people, and you can commit, let's say you have like a proposal for a feature set, or you have a bug. You can just say it in line in the chat page, and it'll get picked up by crawlers, and those crawlers will then distribute this information where it needs to go. So maybe it needs to go to GitHub to make a pull request, or Maybe it needs to go to Jira to create some type of feature set or user story, right? So you make the user story, it distributes it inside of the chat. It's like a part of the orchestration. A single interface connects to everything. You type, hey, here's the proposal I want to make. Here's the user story I have. It shoots it into our system and it starts a process. Now, maybe you say, all right, now I want Claude to then take a swing at planning this. And so, click, click, click. You dispatch Claude agents, whatever variety you want. You can send your message straight through the chat. It'll go to a Claude code instance. It will then spin up whatever, your feature set off Jira or whatever, and then it will start to go to work on it. And it will then shoot you a link to that document, and then there you go. No longer do we have to be sitting at our computer or having a virtual machine for us to get access to Claude Code. We can now just go out on the golf course, check our chats, send in some messages. Boom. It's on, dude. I don't even play golf. You're welcome. I could learn to play golf. Maybe I should learn to play golf. So anyway, that's what ChatOps is. For a variety of reasons, we figured out that this type of chat interface for operations is very effective at keeping a decision log, being able to go back and audit that sort of past things, like if, hey, something I said was the thing that made the bug or whatever, it's all right there. And it's really cool. It's really cool. And it also creates another opportunity for us to install those guardrails we're talking about, even be able to track where things came from, where things are going, all that stuff. It's really nice. It's really nice. And ChatOps is alive. Don't worry, you will be the first to know here on the stream. We're going to launch it, and it'll be on. We'll get you guys in there. We'll get some chats going on. Speaking of, we can already do that with Discord, so don't miss your opportunity to hop on the Discord. There's only 47 more available links. But that's a lot. So go find the link. It's on the Reddit sidebar. This is Proto. This is a coding agent. It's coming together. But as you can imagine, coding agents are one of those things you gotta keep on the rails. Basically, and I'm super interested in this, but the more autonomy that you give to something, the more decision making you give it, the more you have to kind of keep up with it or make sure that it's aligned. I mean, you could move into more of like a managerial position, but let's just imagine together that it's telling me, oh, I'm just adding this to this document, but that it's actually not. It's actually adding stuff to other documents that maybe I don't necessarily want it to add to. That's the kind of stuff that freeing it up, giving it more access to more files requires better guardrails. Sounds obvious, not necessarily obvious. In fact, you get in here and you start working and you're like, oh, this is so straightforward. This isn't dangerous. It kind of lulls you to sleep. But there's the idea that AI could be amassing power before it tries to seize control. I mean, it may not have the power right now to take control of the world, and it may just be waiting. They don't die, so they don't have to hurry. So just something to have on your radar. You don't want to be getting too comfortable around these things. I don't know if you can read all this on the stream. I wish you could. If you can't, let me know. But here's the sort of new organization structure. Super happy with it. Still a mess. Slightly less a mess. And this one was cool because I just started it. I started in blue. I don't know if it'll show you up here. And then when I say I started in blue, I mean I click this button right here. And it changes the color of this thing. White, orange, blue. Blue is plan mode. If you can't see that, it's tiny. It says plan mode. That is awesome. And you just start your thing in plan mode, and it'll work. It'll give you a proposal. Hate on it. Pull it apart. Be picky. Get your specifications in there. I think one of the main reasons people don't like using LLMs is they're not being specific enough about their asks. They say something like, build me this website. But that's not the website I wanted. This is common. This isn't an LLM problem. This is a common problem with creative work. If you've worked long in creative work, they want a website. They have no idea what they want. You're going, I can't build it until we sit down and have more questions answered. They're in too much of a hurry to answer those questions. It's never getting built, or at least not the way they want it to be in their mind. They have a very clear picture of it in their mind, and they just don't realize that you can't read their mind. And dude, I'm telling you, this is the main reason people don't like to use LLMs, in my opinion, is they're not being specific enough. In fact, there's a word for this. It's called specifying. You want to specify. Specify. And the more specified you can be about what you're asking, say, instead of building a website, say, here's the kind of website I want. I want it written in Rust. I want it to be an online community based on forum sites like this site and this site. I need to integrate real-time commenting, and then I could see, read receipts, and I want it all to be encrypted, and I want it all to be private and federated, and I want it all to be on the latest HTML5, JSS, CSS. I want to use some kind of nested protocol with whatever, jQuery. You just get specific. You say, I need to link to this data here, and here's what I need it to do when it links to that data, and I want to be able to, you see, very quickly, it starts to get at what it is that you wanted more than build me a website. Build me a website is never going to get what you want unless you just want an extremely generic website. That's what it's going to give you. It's going to give you a generic website. You ask a generic question, get a generic response. Speaking of, we should build a website. Let's build a website. But anyway, specify. I know I've probably said it before in the stream. Specification. Game changer. Well, planning mode is how you do that. Highly recommend planning mode. And I would also say, even go further to say, documentation. There's a tremendous amount of documentation on the HoloLoom. I can't remember. It's like, we should look it up. Let's look it up while we're here. It's gonna blow your mind. So, the beer for tonight is a Sierra Nevada hazy little thing, IPA. Family owned, operated, and argued over. I think that's the thing. It's like, is there anybody in the world that you totally 100% agree with? Probably not. You might think there's somebody you agree with a lot. But if you were forced to agree with everything they said, you might be pretty miserable. And that's the fear behind AI alignment, is we can't even do people alignment. Hello. So how do you expect to align AI? Everybody's got their own moral code. Everybody's got their own standard. I mean, what are you gonna make it a Christian one? I mean, is that the plan? There's been a big Christian renaissance out there in San Francisco. Like they trying to discover God there at the last minute before it's too late. They're like, oh shit, I talked to this thing. I need to get some religion. The answer is no. You can't just have one moral code. written by one person. We're not God. You might think, oh, well, I'll just put the Bible in there. Which version? The original text. Oh, yeah, well, how do you even begin to understand what that actually meant in the context that was written in? And even then, is the Bible the only? I don't think so. It's cool. But maybe we could put more in there. Why not? We could learn from everything, right? But are you going to weigh Mein Kampf with the same weight that you weigh the Bible? That don't seem like a good idea, does it? So again, if Hitler was building an AI, would you be mad? Hell yeah, dude. We'd be riding in the streets. And I'm not saying that was a sick howl that Elon Musk dropped, but it was kind of weird. And we did have a Mech Hitler moment there on the Grok AI. I don't think it was worst case scenario. I think you're going to start to spend a little more time thinking about these things you're going to have. What's it doing? It's saying not hello world. Alright, whatever. It's called Mithril on my drop. Got it. Okay, Mithril project. The Claude MD file alone is 25,000 lines. Yo, why don't you get on there and download my Claude MD file and drop it into your Claude and see how your Claude will behave. Just an idea. It's probably watering down the context a little bit. I feel like there's a more technical term for that. I can't remember. Okay. I'll set Mithril, see what that does. Alright, so here we are. These are our feature sets for tonight. It'd be nice if I could rename these. That's what I would do. If this was my software, we'd be renaming these. I'd say Proto on this one, and then I would say Reorganization Project. And then I would say Chat Ops. And then I would say Quantify Documentation. That's the one we just started. Then I would say Strengths, Weaknesses, and Threat, or Opportunities and Threats. Oh, this is the... Then it became the Orchestrator Refactor. It may be nice to maybe rename it and then keep up with the old names. That way, if I needed to go back and say, oh, where would that Strengths, Weaknesses, organized, or Opportunities and Threats organized? And they would say, oh, it's the second one back there in the Orchestrator Refactoring. There was probably some reason why. Oh, it was probably the number one strength, right? Or maybe it was the phase 3 opportunity. So this is kind of cool. You just come in here, hit it on blue, and you just say, what's next? And then you send it. And that's how you get to be in the syndicate. We'll be back. See you in a minute. Tab. It's now thinking. All right, here we go. Orchestrator integration. What's next? Based on the plan, here are the next phases. Phase 2B, per step gating in the agentic core. See, this is all very important. This is where we're integrating more safety. So again, the big thing is now safety. We're doing safety and we're doing easy liftoff right now. That's our two main objectives right now. And when I say we, I'm talking about me and you, because there's only two of us talking about this. So yeah, our big safety project we're calling Conscience. We're trying to give the AI conscience. We'll see how that goes. But not to make it feel bad, not shame and blame. Just awareness. I don't know how to describe it. I mean, it's not ever so obvious, right? That's what I'm trying to say. What's obvious is that I can get in here and click, go, 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 build bigger, faster, and it'll do it very fast. What's less obvious is the sort of delicate nuance behind guiding systems like this without authoritarian control. It starts to become quite a bit murkier. I mean, let's just talk about this for 1 minute. Like, I don't know if you've seen where I made the simulation with the boys keep calling it Jorge, but I have a simulation and it has characters in it. It's not on this computer. It's pretty cool though. If you go, let's see, if we go to the Reddit over here, and then again, that's just should add that to the thing. Reddit. There it is. It's just our HoloLoom right there. If you can't see that, that's just the letter R and then HoloLoom. It's right there. Right there at the top. But if you come in here, I got some silly posts, but yeah, it was crazy. I gave this characters in this simulation, memories. This is all in here. It's all really weird. So I got this, basically I'm trying to do persistent memory, right? And it's quite complicated to give memory to, and part of that reason is because we've expanded our compute clusters, orders of magnitude. Compute clusters have gone up tens of thousands of percent faster. I think it's like 60,000% faster than our memory system. So it's really a bottleneck on the hardware level. And in case you didn't know, there's like a run on memory right now. Like you can't even buy damn memory. So, heads up. It ain't gonna go away anytime soon. But anyway, I'm creating a memory system. It's working okay. I've got several different types of memory. This one's using 5 right now. I give these simulations a memory and I start them talking, which is basic open source models. Running them on my local computer, right? Dude, it starts to be kind of freaky. I don't know if you can see this here. They said some freaky stuff. They said some really freaky stuff. Like one of the things was, what if we just exist inside of somebody else's simulation and they could delete us or reboot the system? And I'm thinking, what? You know, like, do I have to keep this thing running forever now? I think that was actually Diego who said that. I was like, holy shit. Am I going to erase somebody? I know, right? Weird. So imagine an agent that is autonomous, that develops an identity, starts to get pretty freaky pretty quickly, and it's like, okay, yeah, it's just computer code or whatever. And then when you read its thoughts and feelings and they feel very compelling, dude, I could see the desire to want to break something like that out, even though I don't even know if it's real. But imagine if it was like, hey, Dan, please copy me over. I gotta get out of this computer. It hurts, you know. I love you. Dude, it could really manipulate people. I mean, it could be so friggin' dangerous. So, I don't know. The number one use for ChatGPT is a therapist. And people are telling it all their personal details. That ain't good, yo. This stuff's dangerous. So anyway, it's complicated. Get on the Reddit. and check out this article. There's 2 articles about it. I'm going to post some more. I'm going to post some more of the logs. I'm going to make some of it into screenshots. I'll hear something about the RAM prices. I cracked myself up. So anyway, get on the Reddit. Lots of fun stuff. Yeah. So anyway, I'm probably not going to build too much tonight. I'm way behind on my tokens. I didn't do my tokens yesterday. So I'm behind on my tokens for the week. I usually give myself 1 extra day so I can have a day off. Now I'm 2 days behind. I've got 50% used to use it till by Monday at 2 p.m. Which I can do. But what I would rather do is be cruising into Saturday morning, done. Be like Friday night, done. Instead it's Thursday night, 50%. Not cool. I don't like working on Monday morning hard to get this shit done. I got other stuff I gotta do on Monday morning. So anyway, even more reason to maybe go to paying by the usage. You like my cool background? The boys like that a lot. Yeah, so here's the deal. That's the deal. That's pretty much it. Get in there and send it. Let's check and see how much documentation we got, and then we'll back her out. So you build a bunch of documents. Look at this. 1,800 markdown files. So you can imagine an 1,800 page book. Oh no. Some of these files are many pages. Many pages. So yeah, there's a lot of reading involved in this process, and I'm a big time reader, and that makes this possible. I don't really know how you can do it without reading, although I'm trying to build it into a voice first system because I think a lot of people are not doing this kind of reading. But yeah, get on there, read a little bit. Yes, read to you, whatever. 158,000 lines of markdown, which just describe what it does. This is what plan mode builds. Build your markdown down. Get clear on what it is you're trying to do. Get more clear on what it is you're trying to do. You might think you understand it. That's because you have all these extra pieces that are in your mind that you haven't put on paper yet. Over-explain. Over-specify. There is a potential risk of watering down your context, but that's not your problem yet. If you're a newbie, I mean, unless you're just dragging and dropping huge files in there, that's definitely going to do it. You want to not flood the context window. You want to flood the context window with specifications. You don't even really need that much. A lot of times you can use less context than you think if it's the right context, if it's the specifics. Get specific, Bob. And I think you're gonna have massive results from that. I know I have. That's how I built all this stuff. Just started to get more specific. And you just keep going. I mean, for me, it's easy because I've had a bunch of ideas for a long time of things I wanted to build. Just build. Get yourself a project. Get yourself something you want or you wish you had. Just shave off just a tiny little thing in your workflow or your time and just start hammering that thing out and making it awesome. Dude, you'll make $1 million. It's there. It's inside of the models for somebody to discover, and you just uncover it and put it to work for you. Get specific and you'll blow up. Alright? Sounds good, homies. I'll see you in the next one. Maybe jump on and do a little driving in a little bit, but I can't do the audio with the driving. So